Hello, everyone. This is Andy from Stream Team Battle, and I have managed to catch up with RobTV a few days ahead of this Saturday's Stream Team Battle matchup against Piano Densetsu, Team Densen. RobTV will be representing Team Entourage, and we're thankful for his time. So, Rob, if you don't mind, I got a few questions for you.
Andy, I appreciate you having me on, and I just want to clarify for one, because Andy, who's a great guy, said, we have RobTV. The fact of the matter is we actually have Hollywood RobTV, and there's a stark difference there. Also, he said Team Entourage. What do we look like? Team Densetsu or one of these other lame teams out here? We are not team anything. We are the Entourage. Definitely big differences there, but all due respect to Andy, and I'm very excited to be here. I appreciate you for having me.
Hey, I welcome the correction. I want to have everything straight, my man, so I appreciate it very much. So, like I said, I have a few questions for you. First, so you entered your first major in 2017, and you started with content creation a little while before that. I've always known you as both a competitor and a content creator, but did competitive play lead to content creation, or was it vice versa?
That's actually interesting. So, I would say that. So in Street Fighter 4, that was before I ever went to a major. As you just said, my first major was 2017. But it's not even like I played offline like really at all up to that point. But I already had wanted to play in offline tournaments and at some points in Street Fighter 4, like in Arcade Edition and Ultra. But at that time I wasn't doing content. But as far as seriously getting into the competitive side, I don't know. It kind of just happened naturally. Like me even ended up on this path as a whole. It was just a natural thing. Of course, I enjoy fighting games, and maybe we'll get into that later on. But I've always enjoyed competing, always enjoyed fighting games. And when I was in college, I was in a business school, and I left. I had like about a year left or something of that nature, and I left because I want to do something in the field of entrepreneurship. And I personally would include entertainment in that bubble, depending on how you go about it.
Sure.
So building a brand, things of that nature, entertaining people, that's something that I've always been conscious of. So the reason my tag is even RobTV is because RobTV is very general. That was the name of my channel, and people just started calling me that. Right. But that wasn't like my actual name, right? So I plan to do a whole lot of different content, like not just fighting game content. But the city that I moved to, where I live now in Columbus, there's a local fighting game scene. I ended up competing, and I wanted to get better and better every single week. And before I knew it, I was just so addicted to Street Fighter again that, I don't know, before I knew it, things just kind of took off.
Oh, that's
so it wasn't like I specifically was like, yo, I'm going to do content and then transition into competitive or vice versa. I kind of just always, since I got into it, I've always just enjoyed both.
Well, that's really cool. So you're just following both of your passions, and they just happen to intertwine a bit.
Yeah, 100%. Like I made videos and stuff before, like in school, I would, like in high school and stuff like that. I always I would rap. I dance. This is back when like dance battling was popular and whatnot, like crumping and things of that nature. I was always a guy cracking jokes in class and whatnot. So. Yeah, it kind of just naturally, and then I played sports as well. So the competitive itch was definitely scratched by being able to compete in games after getting into adulthood. So definitely FGC just it covers everything that I enjoy.
Oh, that's awesome. When your two passions can complement each other that way, that's just makes it natural and probably makes the fire even stronger. So from that point, when you first got started, you were able to identify your passions and make them work together to progress as far as you have. You've gone from that point to being a professional player, content creator, streamer, and now you're the host of a major series in Street Fighter League. And you also recently became partner on Twitch, which congratulations for that.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's impressive. So I think you touched on it a little bit already, but were any of those parts of that arc specific goals, or were any of those particular parts, such as those things I mentioned, were those just opportunities that you were able to grasp as a result of your hard work?
So it's not like I specifically the only thing that I pursued from the beginning was I wanted to entertain people, and I wanted to I wanted to compete. Like I wanted to be the best player in the world, and that's still what my goals are. Now things are a lot more focused. Now that I've been in the scene for a few years and everything, and I'm more privy to what's going on behind the scenes, and I have ideas on how I think the scene can improve and how I can help with that, and collaborate with people to help with that. But as far as actually getting to a lot of these points, I honestly got to say, like the guy that you guys get, I know everybody would like to say that, but 100%, anybody vouch for this dude, Kev, anybody like that. The stuff that I do on camera, on a TV show, whatever, is just how I am on a day-to-day basis. I'm clowning my friends. I'm talking trash. I just like to have fun, like, annoying my girlfriend all day, so on and so forth. So honestly, the way that it went, it just so happened that a lot of this stuff, like I would say in game, I had to really, really grind it out. And even from a content standpoint, I've had to grind it out, but I would say it's different. From a content standpoint, I feel like I've had to grind it out from a standpoint of like, I guess, consistency and things of that nature. But as far as the things that people seem to enjoy from a personality standpoint, things like that, it's just, a natural, it's a pretty natural thing. Like I haven't had to think super deeply about. Now I think more about branding and things of those nature. I mean, things of that nature. But yeah, I wasn't like, yo, one day I'm gonna host a Capcom Cup or a Street Fighter League, or I also have played. I played in the first 2 seasons of Street Fighter League. My team did well, and of course, individually, Big Hollywood definitely put boots to asses and had top 5 win percentages. Some people don't be knowing about that. Some people don't be knowing about that part. But yeah, I feel like the way I look at the risk of being cliche, okay? Hear me out, Andy. I feel like there's a lot of things in life where you cannot connect the dots moving forward or looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. I completely stand by that line of thinking, or, whatever you would call that, that saying or whatever. Like, there was a lot of times while I was pursuing this thing where it felt like, man, I was just in business school, man. I could have been doing this. I could have been doing that right now. Like the amount of time I'm putting into this versus what I'm getting out and X, Y, Z. But time and time again, year after year, when I look back, it's like, damn, I couldn't have pictured this happening. I couldn't picture that happening. And I remember, like, while I was in college, like, I will always go to, me and my girl, like, we will always go to, like, the conferences and things of that nature, like, if there's a speaker. And when there was a speaker, like, yeah, of course, there's, like, I don't know, hundreds of us students there listening. But 99% will leave, like, after it's over, like, oh, boom, and leave. Hell no, we pulling up. Like, we always walk to the front and talk to whoever the person, whoever the person was. And I remember this woman in particular, Carly Arena, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. Yeah. But she made the point that, like, as far as like success and things of that nature, just like if you're, I don't want to say doing the right things, not from a moral standpoint, but just if you're pursuing something and you really putting your all behind it, then the particulars and, trying to get a specific amount of money from it or fame from it or anything like that is really a waste of time, because everything that's supposed to come from it is going to come from it. And that's how it's been for me up to this point.
I think that's a great story, and it's a great outlook. And hopefully that's the kind of message I think a lot of people need to hear, because I think a lot of people have hobbies or something that's a prospective hobby that they might be interested in, but they think, oh, I might stink at it. Or maybe they're thinking about even just going to a local to go play some fighting games. Oh, I might get clobbered. But you just have to go out there and do it. And you're going to fail the first few times. It's never going to go smoothly. And like you said, you can't see those things looking forward. You have to move forward. So, I think awesome. I agree with you 100% on that. And I would just add that I think that people right now, because of the whole esports becoming a part of the FGC, or FGC becoming a part of esports, I should say, gradually, and hopefully that continues to ramp up. I think that a lot of players are getting into it and trying to get to a certain point. And I just think that that's very unhealthy I think it's unhealthy mentally. I think you're going to end up dealing with a whole lot of negative emotions that's going to make your journey that much harder. It got to just be for the love of it in the end of the day. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that I could have been doing instead to make a lot more in an office somewhere. Sure. Or, and
even before stuff was even to the point where it's at right now, but even before I ever went to a major in 2017, I would spend hours playing Street Fighter and talking to friends and whatnot, and Xbox Live parties on 360 and whatnot, just enjoying the game, loving the game. So it's not like I got into this in hopes of being RobTV or anything like that, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Because like you said, it's kind of a tall order to fill. If you're looking to, I want to make a ton of money doing this, you kind of just have to follow your passions and take the opportunities as they come around. You can't specifically look for those goals because they can be so hard to achieve. So I think that's a good outlook, and that's a great story. I have a couple of follow-up questions for you on those topics, actually. So you're obviously super competitive, but you're also wanting to entertain people. You're doing both of those. But do you ever find that the balance between the two is something that you kind of have to review and reflect on if it's the right balance, or is it always pretty natural for you?
I don't think that I really have to find a balance per se. Like, for example, one of the ways that I had got my name up is just because where the neighborhood that I'm from and neighborhoods like that in general, trash talking is rampant. Like, going to the basketball court or playing football on the street or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Us cracking jokes on each other. No, we called it roasting or whatever where I'm from.
For sure.
But in school, during lunch, rap battling, all of that type of stuff. So when it came to, the competitive side of things, like, when it came to me actually competing in fighting games, I would always travel around the Midwest. I would drive around the Midwest going to tournaments and whatnot, right? Like, I travel to 3 different cities in one weekend, like that was regular at that time. Like, I didn't have a sponsor to fly me or nothing like that. And I remember, like, I would always like talk trash. I would pop off, so there would be a lot of viral moments or just my name ringing and whatnot. I would, and at first some people didn't really like me because of it, to be honest. But overall, I did know that, like, this is the thing. So I was not trying to do that. That's just naturally how I am, or even how I was at that time. Like, I may have toned it down a little bit now, even though I did just have like one of my craziest pop-offs just last year. So maybe I haven't toned it down as much as I like to think. But I always felt like, in general, like when you look at wrestling, right? WWE, things of that nature.
Sure.
AEW, whatever. When you are failing as a wrestler, it's when you come out, your music hits, and people just look at you with indifference.
Exactly.
If people are cheering you, you're over. That's good. You're a face. If people are booing you, then you're a heel, but you have what they call heat. That's good. They care. You're a part of the story. When they are looking at you and it's just completely irrelevant, that's when it's problematic. So I think that at first I did have a lot of love, but I also had a decent amount of hate. And I think that the reason is because, like, people kind of they didn't know me as much, so they weren't in on it. Like, some people might have took it the wrong way, like, oh, this dude's really an arrogant asshole or something like that.
Right.
But as people got to know me, they see, like, yo, bro, like, I'm not like that. I mean, I am like that as far as talking trash and stuff, but I don't mean any malice. Like, it's all competition and whatnot and entertainment, sure. Right? But like, as soon as we step off the court, we're all good friends and everything. Like, everything's cool. So I bring it up to say, as far as your question, like, I think that that is an aspect of entertainment, just like writing a script, just like going and creating some content. So I'll think that the entertainment side, even as a competitor, I think when you are beating people, when you do a cool combo, when you do a cool whiff punish, fighting games and esports in general is an entertainment industry. Sports in general, all sports, boxing, all of that, it's all an entertainment industry. You sell the fight, and even what you do in the ring, Mike Tyson knocking someone out. It's not like, there's some of us who love boxing who we're looking at how Mike Tyson turns his hips and the way he dips and everything and so on and so forth. Just like in fighting games, we have that, us purists.
Absolutely.
But 99% of the fans in boxing are just saying, wow, he just knocked him the fuck out. Look at that guy's body. He just went limp. It's entertainment, and that's where the money is. That's where you grow, So I think that people really should, and I always will preach this, we got to understand that fact that, even major events, that's kind of like going on tour in the music industry to a degree. To me, You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, you can go and meet fans in person and stuff that don't get to see everybody in person. I remember my first major in 2017. A lot of people that are my friends and stuff now, I know at that time, though, I was like, damn, that's so. I'm not going to say who because I'm not giving y'all the damn satisfaction to have you trolling me and texting me and whatnot. But you know what I mean? It was super surprising for me to see all these people, and it's all putting on the show. So, yeah, I've always looked at the competition and entertainment kind of as one. The biggest challenge, I suppose, probably was I think that there's some people who, there's two things. I would say for one, if you are, I don't think my path is common. I'll say that. I don't think my path is common in the FGC as far as like my lane. I'm a serious pro player who's like trajectory in that regard has been on a completely upward slope, since I've started and it has been a very steep slope. But then at the same time, while I'm growing in that, boom, here comes this media thing. But I think generally speaking, people look at the media guys as the media guys. You're a commentator, you're a host, you're an analyst. You do this after you retire from competing or something like that. Or, some people say, because you can't go no more. You can't go anymore or something like that.
Right.
That's not me. I'm fucking y'all up in tournament. I just won at NLBC. I just, top 8 VCPT onlines, all that sort of things. Smoking stuff in Street Fighter. I mean, I don't even need to list everything. People already know my wrath. People already know the supernova in the flames, the embers that's left in my path as soon as my nuke steps into a tournament. But with that being the case, I just also happen to have this beautiful God-given gift of gab so that I can entertain y'all on the mic. But I don't think those two things are separate. But I do think that some people might try to downplay my skills now that I'm a host. So just because I'm a host, a few months before that, somebody might have been like, oh yeah, RobTV, and thought of me as this godlike player. But then just becoming a host, all of a sudden, some people ask, do you still compete? Bro, what? Do you know my goddamn name? Do I compete? Like, so the goal for me is to be winning a major or being top 8 of a major and hosting it at the same time. I want to beat someone's ass and then interview and ask them, how you feel about me just beating your ass just now? You know what I mean? That's the overall goal. But the last thing I'll add to that, and of course you guys can cut this up to make it shorter if you need to. The last thing I'll add to that is I would say as far as Twitch, one of the reasons I was late to the Twitch game, which ended up being a blessing and a curse, by the way, being late to Twitch, is because I felt like I couldn't focus on competing, like training seriously and entertaining people on Twitch. So I thought I had to choose because I see there's some people who I feel like they would be stronger players if they didn't stream on Twitch because of the way that they go about it.
I agree.
Like,
I think the same thing sometimes.
Yeah, and they, it's just all just rank matches, all just playing with but it turns out that, I learned from streaming, at least depending on who, I guess, I don't know, depending on your fan base or, how much people rock with you, your personality, they'll watch you have a serious training session and so on and so forth. I'm at a situation where I'm not trying to, I love all my supporters, but I'm still trying to improve my damn self at the game. I want to win. So I'm not trying to play against my supporters who are gold rank or bronze rank or so on and so forth. It's nothing personal, but I'm a serious competitor. You're not going to begrudge somebody that's in the NBA or has NBA aspirations for not trying to play a pickup game of basketball. They're trying to improve, right? And my viewers and supporters respect that, and then I still play them here and there. So it hasn't been tough for me to balance those two things up to this point, and I don't think it will be. And like I said, and I think another big part of that is the fact that I just don't have to put a whole lot of effort, I don't think, into the media side of things. This part just comes really naturally to me. The way where I think that Street Fighter might come or whatever, like some type of chess or something might come naturally to Magnus or somebody. You know what I mean? Like this part isn't really work to me as much as the game.
Oh, I like that. So yeah, your paths as a professional and as an entertainer really do intertwine almost exactly. And so I can see the only times when you have any kind of balance where you cut something out is, like you said, playing against maybe subs in Battle Lounge. You maybe won't do that. Or maybe you don't want to answer, hey, I played Milena in Mortal Kombat 2. Who do I main in Street Fighter 5? You probably don't want to answer that 5 times a day. Stuff like that, maybe. Or maybe you do.
Well, I don't mind people asking me anything because it'll take time. But Yeah, I don't mind people asking me anything. I'm willing to talk about. I don't feel like any question is too dumb unless it's like some. Yeah. Well, there's some dumb.
I didn't mean to imply that, but you're not going to spend a whole stream doing that.
Exactly. Yep.
No, that's really cool, man. So I have a follow-up question too. You mentioned about esports and FGC moving closer together. I forget which one you said was moving into which, but you implied that you felt that was positive, and I think you already touched on that, saying about how entertainment is a huge part of the whole operation because, like you said, a large contingent of your audience is simply going to see, oh, this guy got knocked out. That was cool. That was awesome. That got me hype. It's going to be a smaller percent that is in tune with the competitive meta that's going to appreciate those finer points. So I feel like the prospect of the FGC and esports becoming more one and the same, or at least the money side of FGC, a lot of people feel that's pretty unpopular. And you kind of touched on already, but what would you say to people who think that esports and FGC becoming closer is a bad thing?
I would say that for one, most of the people that I hear give those type of opinions tend to be hardcore fans who have been around for years.
It's probably true.
And for that, first and foremost, I would say that, I'm one of you as far as, somebody who's been supporting this stuff for years. My first major was 2017, but, I was playing seriously at least since I started playing at 09 when the game came out, but I wasn't serious at all. I was just playing with my dad and stuff. But like Arcade Edition Ultra, I really got into it, right? Been watching tournaments, all of that. What I would say is that since you have that love for the scene, then I think that you should think of your favorite players, your favorite creators, and things of that nature. I don't want to say all that's gonna happen because somebody might have some. I think everything has give and take. That's just life. You know what I mean? Nothing is just all out 100% perfect. But the good, in my opinion, far outweighs the potential negatives. If your favorite players can make more money, for example, right? Then all of a sudden, that means they can afford to go to more tournaments. That means that they can afford to put more time into their craft because they don't need to go and have a X or Y job on the side, or they don't have to be stressed out with that and so on and so forth.
Right.
I'm personally someone, I could be a different type of guy, but I'm the type of guy who, if I rock with a creator to a certain degree, I've literally done this before, no BS. I've watched a YouTube video and got an ad, and if it's not too long, I've literally let the ad damn play sometimes. Most times I don't. But I've done stuff like that before just because you support somebody to that level or donate to them or XYZ like you guys do for the supporters that you guys appreciate so much. So I think that's one positive side of it from a player standpoint, and then even from a content creator standpoint. All of a sudden you can upgrade your camera quality. You can afford to travel and do collaborative content, things of that nature. So it provides a better product for you guys at home that love the FGC in the first place. Now, for two, and I think that this is probably the biggest thing, it brings in more viewership. If you look at the CPT Pro Tour like season finals, and you see the camera angles that they had on like the commentary desk and whatnot, and they would literally like switch to 3 different, like a full-on angle, then and they get the logo in the background and XYZ. Don't think of it just as yourself as a hardcore fan, right? Think of it as a random person that doesn't know anything about the fighting community that's scrolling by, or that, let's say Twitch put this event on the front page or something like that. Twitch rivals, Twitch is tweeting it out and stuff like that. They tweeted out the intro that I did and everything, and that, Capcom and Blue Coast edited to make amazing and everything, right? But all of a sudden, someone who's not in the scene is like, yo, what's this? This looks official.
Yep.
This looks serious. When we look at the biggest games in esports, it's not like they're like, I understand we like the whole grungy FGC poverty, you know what I mean? The throwback streams and the houses and people just saying whatever the hell they want. Look, I'm one of the, if you ask most of the OGs, they'll tell you. And you probably, if you are OG, you should know yourself. Like, my personality type, I would have fit in some mug back in the day. I would have been a snug fit in the old school FGC. I'm one of the most trash talking hype type of, you know what I mean? I'm with all that. I love it.
Yep.
Let's do it. Let's put money on the line. I'm with all of that. But with that being the case, I don't think that we have to sacrifice that in order to have higher production value and a more polished look. When we look at is it called LCS, the League of Legends Championship?
That I believe so. LCS. That does sound right.
Okay, yeah, I think it's LCS. But when I look at that, and they got all those fans in there, and they have the casters in there looking fresh with their suits and all that, and their tattoos, some of them and stuff. But it's such a high production value. The thing is, a lot of stuff is about image and perception, right? So, as players and content creators, okay, I think that what's lost so often is because I don't know if it's because the base is young, and not as far as the viewership base, but like the player base and content creators, or I'm not sure, or it's because in fighting games it tends to be such an individual undertaking or endeavor. But people don't understand to me, it's our job to try to sell the game. It is the developer's job, but we are also a part of it. And why would I care about selling the game? F Arxis, F Capcom. Well,
yep.
Idiot. It helps you. It helps you as well. That's the thing. A rising tide lifts all ships. All of a sudden, if there's not 200 entrants or 300 entrants in this tournament, there's 600. There's 1,000. There's 5,000. There's 10,000. Well, you know what's also going up with that? Viewership. Well, if viewership is increasing because the player base is increasing and tournaments are increasing, then what does that mean? A lot bigger pots for you, a lot better production value for the fans, a lot better, more sponsorship opportunities for you because we pushed the game. And this is for whatever fighting game, not just Capcom or whatever. You know what I mean? That's who I work with, like as far as like that's the game I play. Yeah. But as a whole, this goes throughout fighting games, as generally speaking. So we definitely, in my opinion, should embrace esports while trying to make sure it stays as FGC as possible. But with that, I don't think that that's too much of an issue because through all of my experiences so far, all the productions I've been a part of, they have wanted all of the things that you guys would assume that they don't want. I just don't see where you guys don't see that part of things. Like, they don't want to spend money and create a whole production for us to say, oh, good games, man. Great games. Oh, yeah, I thought that was a whole lot of fun. Back to the desk. Bro, what? They're not stupid. These people got families to feed too.
Exactly.
They're not dumb. They know that nobody want to see that. We're not here for no weak garbage. So with that being the case, why do people think that all of a sudden it's going to be this super watered down, lame type of thing? No, it's not going to be that. You need the flair. Even in the NBA, NFL, and all that, they talk about what was said on the court, what was said on the field, what's the storylines. Storylines. That's something that's very lost in the FGC on a whole lot of people. Something that I noticed from right now, for example, right? Like, let's say a player comes out of nowhere and is an amazing player, right? And they just start winning tournaments tomorrow, or I don't know, whatever. Especially the same with offline come back. They're winning all these CPT events. Or we got CPT online this year. But we don't know them. Yo, man, this dude's ridiculous. Who's that? Exactly. It has value, but it doesn't have close to the same value as, yo, I've been watching RobTV for years, or yo, I'm a subscriber to his Twitch channel, and we talk, like, you know what I mean, on Twitch, like every 5 days a week and whatever. You know what I mean? I'm posting the emotes in the chat. My heart's racing watching this other person play as if I'm playing. Those storylines matter, and it doesn't always have to be support. Even if you don't like someone. Let's say you're somebody, I hate RobTV, or I hate whoever the player is. Still, it's storylines, and it creates investment. And esports helps to shine a light on and, just enrich and enlarge these storylines, which grows the player base and helps the viewers and the players and the content creators.
Oh, I totally agree because I feel the same way. I think people that are against esports and getting involved with FGC, I think they're way off. And one big reason I think too is because the grimy FGC cussing, tons of trash talking, that was never going to get 20,000 viewers on CPT anyway. That was always going to be the garage type stuff, which is fine. It has its place, but I feel like that you don't lose it. It's they can coexist for sure, in my opinion. I was a huge fan of the Challenger, even though seemingly at every turn my hopes were dashed by Minot wake up supers. But I digress. But in that show, in the Challenger, you had especially great showing as a player and as a very magnetic personality. And I was wondering if your accomplishments on that show opened up a lot of doors for the content and hosting side of things, or if you were already on that path and that was simply a boost or a step for you.
No, so the Challenger was extreme. For one, thank you for the compliments. But as far as the hosting and all that, so I did that in the beginning of 2018. Like that was like
right.
The end of 2017, I think it is when I had applied somewhere near the end of 2017. And we did the show like the beginning of 2018. The hosting and stuff, that literally wasn't until, when was Street Fighter League? October of 2020?
It was recent, yeah.
Yeah, so, of course I found out about that I was going to do the hosting like a few months before we actually went and did it. But yeah, it's not like I said, everything just kind of happened. It just kind of happened naturally to a degree as far as that side of things. Like I didn't know I was going to be doing hosting and things of that nature. But I definitely think that the Challenger did a whole lot as far as adding more storyline behind my name. Like, if you're watching a tournament and, a bit similar to what we talked about, but, just the commentators, they kind of, if they don't know a player as much, they got to kind of just like talk about the character matchup or, XYZ. They don't really know the person. They can't really say anything about backstory.
Sure.
All of a sudden, that added a whole lot to my backstory. You know what I mean? And I was right after NEC. So I definitely think that I don't think anything is wasted. So it's not always as simple as you did this and it opened up that door. A lot of stuff is kind of like even how it affects people's subconscious image of you or, things of that nature. So I definitely think it gave me a lot of, granted me a lot of opportunities, but I couldn't name them directly per se.
But that is neat though. That sounds like it was positive and it was some kind of boost. So
definitely,
I'm glad for that.
It was definitely a boost. It definitely was very helpful.
No, I appreciate that. That's kind of a nerd thing for me because I thought that was so much fun. I was a big fan of that show, so I'm glad it was a positive thing, and it obviously was.
Yeah, bro, I love the Challenger, man, and I remember that's when I first like I say. So my first, like we said, my first major is March of 2017. So then the Challenger, I'm applying for that like at the end of 2017, which I found out about it because the personality type and everything, people were tagging me on Twitter and everything like, yo, sign up for this. I didn't even think it was real at first. So I think when that show was announced, that was my first introduction to the divide in the FGC on esports.
Oh, interesting.
And entertainment. Yeah, like the esports, the competition and entertainment side as far as like the viewership. Because I remember there was literally some people like, where's Taquito? Where's Daigo? And it's XYZ. And I'm like, bro, it's an American reality TV show. Like, do you really like? Who do you want here? Like, exactly. This is not the end. I remember even at that time, I was just so surprised. Like, I'm very happy that I'm getting in more and more of a position that I feel like I'm having more and more of I have, a voice that I believe to be significant, like enough I can start discourse and stuff nowadays.
Yes.
Because I swear, even at that time, I was looking, I was like, man, like, why do y'all think that this reality TV show existing stops a tournament from existing. Like, what does this reality TV show have to do with an event as amazing as Combo Breaker?
Exactly.
Why does this existence have to? Do I want to call it out? Damn, do I want to call it out? Look. All right. If you do not like esports and like the entertainment stuff, and if you think Taquito should be on a American reality TV show or XYZ, this does not automatically apply to you. What I'm about to say, but it applies to some people. I think in the FGC, there's some people who are gonna hate something if they aren't a part of it. It's such a competitive, like, people look at it as such a competitive industry, like, like as if someone else is taking a spot from them or XYZ. The mindset is horrible. I talked about it on my stream recently. Like, I really think that the mindset is horrible. Actually, you should check out the podcast.
I think I saw it actually on your stream the other day about mindset and people getting overly upset and things like that, and your approach. Yeah,
exactly. And I definitely think that's not good though, man. Like, there's if you are meant to get to a certain spot, you're gonna get there. It doesn't matter who exists. It doesn't matter if Knuckle Do and Daigo and Taquito and RobTV and Tasty Steve. It don't matter. Like, there's enough people to watch you as well. There's enough tournaments for you to win as well. Just do your thing and you'll succeed. But I feel like don't hate on the next thing just because you're not a part of it. Like, someone else's success doesn't always mean you're a failure.
Oh, I totally agree. I think that's a positive message, because that requires you to look at yourself and ask yourself, what can I do my best? Not worry about other people that might be seemingly standing in your way. You're going to look at yourself, and that's the way to be most productive, in my opinion. So I'm definitely in accordance with that. Regarding your goals for entering Stream Team Battle, is your focus on the community aspect and coaching up people from your community or players if you happen to draft players? Or is it the personal aspect of going head-to-head against another high-caliber player yourself? Or is it kind of a mesh of the two?
I'm not too pressed on, like, going up against Denson, like, as far as, like, from
as you just said,
1v1. Yeah, from a 1v1 standpoint. I think that supporting such a dope idea that you guys are doing with the Stream Team Battle and everything, I just really think this is a dope idea. Like, I'll show my stream the video that you guys did and everything. To show everybody what it was with the divisions and the Rams and all of that, and the editing is dope on there. You guys made Miso made like the Entourage logo for our team and everything. So I just think what you guys are doing is amazing, and I think that a lot of times people don't support stuff when it's new and starting out as much as we should. So I'm just happy to support something that's dope content. Like, I fully disagree with the idea that someone's current numbers or whatever, which I don't even know you guys' numbers or that like that, but I'm just saying in general, I know y'all newer too. Like, this is a newer concept.
Yeah.
I do not think numbers equate to quality, or, you know what I mean? Or vice versa. So, like, my personality that, people like, or my skills on the microphone or writing and things like that, I didn't get good at these things recently. I didn't get good at this thing in the last year. I've been doing this for a long time, but it's just now getting on the platform where it's being pushed out there more. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that now. So I feel like somebody should be able to look, just like a talent scout, and be able to look and see, like, yo, this dude is fire. You know what I mean? Before everybody else can see it. And that's what happened even with me getting the hosting gigs and stuff with Capcom and all of that, is that I was on Super League as a player. They seen the entertainment value, and then boom, we got these different opportunities. So with you guys, I think Stream Team Battle could just be a really big thing eventually, and it should be, because it's fire. So I'm happy to be a part of it, to support y'all. Definitely my number one motivation is showing the world that the Entourage is the strongest Twitch community in the world. Not even just in fighting games. We'll probably smoke you on Mario Kart, Call of Duty, golf, PGA, any of that, NHL, it doesn't matter. Rock, paper, scissors, you name it. But especially when it comes to this beautiful thing that we love and know as Street Fighter 5, you have absolutely no chance standing up against us. So honestly, Denson over there on the other side and his team, what's their team called?
I believe it's simply
It
Team.
doesn't matter what their team is called. It doesn't even matter. Let's be completely honest about it. Like, who gives a damn what their team is called? It's nothing cool. Our team's name is way cooler than theirs. And you know what we're gonna call them? We're the Entourage. They're the paparazzi. That's what they are. We are the Entourage going up against the paparazzi. And you know what I mean? I hope that they're gonna get a very good look. They actually get a chance to go up against actual real-life Entourage members. They actually get a chance to hold our low forward confirms and get anti-aired and all of that against actual real-life Entourage members. It's not an opportunity that a whole lot of people get, and that's why when they do get the chance to go, they want to upload us on YouTube just when they land a hit or two on us, which is understandable. I support y'all. I like all of those videos. I click like. Oh, man, look at little guy right here. Boom, like. You know what I mean? I instruct the Entourage do the same thing. But that being the case, the whole point of this is just to show the paparazzi that there's a reason that they're taking the pictures and we are the focus of them.
Dude, I like it. The gauntlet has been laid down for Denson and Team Densetsu coming up on Saturday, man. It's been a pleasure, Rob. I appreciate it so much. Appreciate the time. This has been awesome. Definitely exceeded anything I would hope for. It's been super fun.
Yo, Andy, I appreciate you having me on. Much love to you and my guy Stack Bradford and everybody watching. Make sure you guys hit that follow button on their stream. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, and most importantly, make sure that you are tuned in this Saturday, March 27th. If you want to see Team Paparazzi, whatever, going up against Big Hollywood and the Entourage.
Thanks, Rob. We will see you guys on Saturday.
Much love, brother.